Hi everyone, can everyone hear me?
Hello, can
Hi.
hear you.
Hi, sorry about that, technical difficulty.
All good.
Have we got everyone back in? We've got a couple joining now.
Hi.
Hello, sorry about that technical difficulty. It was perfect and everything was fine. I had Zoom running for a long time and then in the meeting ready to go, and then as soon as I invited everyone in, it all just froze and crashed. So sorry about that. I'm just going to upload into the chat the file for the calculation for the discussion that we're going to have today, so that I can get everyone getting access to that. So just adding that in now. Can everyone see that in the chat?
Sure we can.
Wonderful, fantastic. So thank you all for joining today, and thank you for being patient with the technical error. So the point of today's discussion is to really work out, to have a discussion around how much your business can really afford to accept in Qoin, in short. The way that we're going to get to that is we're going to work out, we're going to go through a few things. We're going to work out what your business GP is, how to calculate that, how to calculate how much your business is going to need in cash expenditure, as well as how much your business needs to generate in cash to your everyday expenses in life, and then to work out your spare capacity in your business that you might be able to utilize either in the way that you're currently generating income or through Qoin. So that's the way that's today's discussion. So has everybody managed to download the spreadsheet? Beautiful. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen, and I'll just run you through some of the things that we've got here. After we've run through the spreadsheet as well, there'll be plenty of time for Q&A, so that we can I can answer any questions that you might have in regards to this process or Qoin in general, whatever questions you may have. So I'll just share my screen now. So a little disclaimer to start, this advice is general and does not take into account your objectives, financial situations or needs. You should consider whether the advice is suitable for you or your personal circumstances before you make any decision whether to acquire a certain product. You should obtain and read all relevant product disclosure statements. Just have to put that one in there because we are, of course, going to be talking about Qoin. I'm not saying that you should have Qoin in your business. That is a decision that you need to make. The documents provided is to be used as a tool as part of your business and personal needs. This document can be used as part of the decision-making process. It is our recommendation that all values and calculations be reviewed by your own advisor before making any determinations. I also forgot that I'm just going to record this if everyone's okay with that. Oh, it already is. Beautiful. So now, the way that I've worked this spreadsheet is so that if you all have it downloaded, that you can fill it in and work along with it if you can. So I'll run through each of the different tabs their purposes and the way that it's supposed to kind of be entered and the reasons for each of the fields. But feel free to enter it in as you go along. I'm also recording this and I'll share this with you all later so that if you don't, or you get lost or you're a little bit behind because there's a fair bit of data to input, that you can come back later and review and get some understanding as to what each of the section means. So if we just click over to Business GP on the spreadsheet, everyone can see my screen, can't they? Yes, we determined that before. So Business GP is trying to work out the gross profit and your business's total capacity. So what this basically means is that we're going to try and work out how much money your business is generating in sales, how much of that is the gross profit, and what is the maximum amount that your business really can make. We want to kind of make this reasonable. We don't want to be too far-fetched in this. We don't want to go, well, the possibilities are infinite and I could make all the money in the world. Let's kind of keep it a little bit realistic for the purposes of this. Although I don't want to limit anybody's abundance or anything like that. But for the purpose of this, we'll try and just keep it a little bit more realistic to the here and now of your business's capacity. So you'll see here that we've got income stream 1, 2, and 3 up the top here. Now this is because this is for different ways that you can generate income. Sometimes people have different products that they sell at a different margin. They might have different services that they have a different charge rate for. They might have their service, which doesn't cost them anything in labor, but they sell somebody else's time, which then costs them a little bit more. And they might have completely different businesses. They might sell something in a shop Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends they do lawn mowing or something like that. So different income streams generate are there to sorry, I've listed the different income streams because often businesses have more than one income stream. So you can relabel these fields to be whatever you want, whatever your product or your service or a combination of both is. Now, I understand that in a lot of instances, it might vary. So although your average, so this is really for your average sale value. So although sometimes you might have a sale that's worth $1,000 and you might have a sale that's worth $100, you kind of need to, for the purpose of this, work out what your average sale is. So for instance, you might sell a product, generally your sale is worth say $150, and the cost of product for that might be $100, and you might have $10 worth of postage and handling. So in that we'd have product, the sale value would be $150, I believe I said. The cost of actual buying the product and materials and those sorts of things, and there's $10 worth of postage and handling. Another service here might be, I'm just going to go to company tax return because that makes sense to me. Now, the sale value of a company tax return is $2,000. I like to work everything out ex GST. This doesn't have any cost of product. There is no postage and handling, but in labor, it cost me $1,500 to pay somebody in wages to do that one. So for that one, we have, I have a profit of $500 for a company tax return, whereas the product is $150. So does everybody have any questions about the income stream or calculating your gross profit at this point? Feel free to unmute and we can have a conversation about it if you have any questions. No news is good news.
Well, do you want questions? Because I'll be your question asker.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got lots of different services, and so we need to do this for each one that we provide, because obviously those margins are different.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about one of each. So where you've got company tax return, that's one tax, one of each product. That's what we're doing in each of those income streams. Is that correct?
I'd say service.
services, yeah, because we're not
Yes.
products.
So if you've got marketing here, you might have marketing, and then you would work out your average cost of your marketing process. So your marketing average fee would be, say, $3,000 a month. Say it costs you do a little bit of paid advertising, and that's say $250 that you actually need to outlay. There's no postage and handling, but you also pay somebody in labor for $2,000 to do that.
Yeah.
So that would be how that would then work. And then over here, you might have administrative, you might have administrative services or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Not a problem. Now, moving down to business capacity. This is kind of where we work out. So as it says, calculate the current quantity of the sales being made in a day and the number of days the business is in operation. Calculate the maximum amount of sales you could do in a day and the maximum number of days you would be able to operate. So for this one, we've got in here kind of our units of measurement. So with marketing, for instance, in this one might be we might call this commission or fees. So we're charging a commission or fees for this. Whereas this one, we might refer to it as a job. And if we were selling products, it might be per how many items you could do, or if you're doing an hourly rate, you could do per hour. If none of those really fit, you can call it other. So if you're selling a computer, you'd probably have it as, items or phones or something like that. So with this one, the amount that you could do in a day, you might be able to service 3 of those in a day. And at the moment, you're currently operating 3 days per week. The maximum that you could probably absolutely do with your current staffing capacity. We're not talking about if I employ the world and service every country everywhere. With your current capacity in your business, with your staffing, what is the maximum output that you can achieve? So you might be able to do, say, 6 a day, and you might be able to do 5 days per week. With the company tax returns, at the moment, we can do 1 a day and probably just still be able to do that 3 days per week. We could probably maximum we can probably still only do 1 per day, but we could do it 5 days per week. If you're a business that operates 6 or 7 days a week, then you can absolutely add extra days in here. In regards to your Qoin area here, this will feed through to later. So this is how many in the current daily sales, this is how many you're currently doing in your cash economy. And then these are specifically isolated for your Qoin economy areas. So in marketing, you might be in tax returns, I might be doing 1 per day, but I'm doing that 1 day per week. So that would mean that I'm doing 3 days per week in my cash economy and 1 day per week in my Qoin economy with a maximum of 5 available. So yes, so that's how that area works. If you don't have any in this income stream, you don't need to enter anything down here, but if you do have something in there, feel free to enter it in. Okay, so I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. Oh, sorry, I've moved it everywhere. So I'm using it on a large screen, which I've realized is probably a little bit distorted. Is that a little bit easier for everyone to see?
Thank you. There's still a lot of white space to the right, but it's okay. It's better than what it was.
Okay. Sorry about that. I've got quite a wide, one of those big long screens, which I'm sharing at the moment. Maybe I should bring it down to my other screen. Let me stop sharing and bring it down to my other screen.
It's fine. It's okay.
It's okay?
Yeah, I can see now. Yeah.
Okay. Not a problem.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Pardon?
There's nothing wrong with it.
Okay. So if I just switch over to the business outgoings screen now. Now what this is the total amount of expenditure that your business incurs. Now the reason that we need to work out this is we need to work out how much it costs for you to keep your doors open. A lot of these expenses will occur whether or not you make a sale. For instance, if you have a rental commitment, regardless of whether or not you're making sales, the landlord wants their rent. A lot of the other expenses like electricity, regardless of the amount of sales you make, you're going to need to continue to pay your electricity bill. The more sales you make, potentially, the higher your electricity bill will be, but it's a bill that needs to get paid regardless. So these are these are what we call your overheads, and these are in relation to what it's actually going to cost you each month to keep your doors open. However, you might not pay for these on a monthly basis. So with your advertising, you might have an agreement to pay, say, $1,500, but you do that on a monthly basis. Now, at the moment, so what this will do is it will calculate out your expenses. So you might have a cleaner that comes in and she's $70, but you pay her they're $70 and they get paid every week. So this spreadsheet will automatically calculate out what the monthly cost is going to be. And then you can go down here and you can type in all of your expenses that you might incur on and the frequency in which you incur them. Now, over here in column E and column F, you'll see that there is the percentage supplemented in Qoin. So if you're not in Qoin, then that's okay. But if you are, you might have found somebody who is willing to do, 75% on Qoin. So if you just type in 75% there, then it'll calculate out the amount that you're actually supplementing that cost, that cash expenditure now into a Qoin environment. So we'll go down here and we'll say, all right, so I have to pay my accountant and I have to pay them $5,000 and I pay them that every year. I might have some entertainment expenses that I run through my business, and let's say that, I don't mind a little bit of expenditure and I spend about $250 a month on my entertainment expenses. For my insurance policy is $2,000 and I pay that annually. My electricity is $600 and I pay that quarterly. That's very cheap, I understand, but I'm just popping in some expenditures through here. We've got our office expenditure here. That's for just teas and coffees and those sorts of things. I think that I probably spend $100 a week on those sorts of things. I like some nice biscuits. We've got our printing and stationery here. Printing and stationery, we can work that out and say that that's about $250 a quarter. I think I'd spent on that. Don't really print a lot anymore. Most of the things are online, but I do have I do have some professional memberships and I have to pay about $500 a year to keep those ones alive. My rent here is annually and it's $25,000 per annum. Can't remember what it is on a monthly basis, but this will work all that out for me. Repairs and maintenance, just to pop a figure in there. I'll say that I'm probably just on bibs and bobs, $100. Say that we'll say a fortnight for that one. Subscriptions. Now, there's always subscriptions. Subscriptions are a little bit sneaky and they always end up adding up. So I'd say that it's probably around $300 a month for my subscriptions. Telephone and internet is probably about $500 per month by the time I add in all of the different devices and those sorts of things. Travel used to be a thing, not a thing anymore. GST is kind of how much you actually physically spend. Now, all of the figures in here really should be excluding GST. You shouldn't put your GST amounts in here, but if you have, you can pop them in here. Same with your PA. Well, your wages should probably be grossed up if you're paying somebody wages. So if they're on a salary of $50,000, that should be included in there. But if you're doing the amount that you actually pay them out every week, then your PAYG can come into here and your superannuation can come into there. So I've allowed it depending on whichever way you wanted to calculate it. Let's say I'm paying off my car and I'm paying $1,200 a month off my car. Oh, the frequency isn't working there. I wonder if that'll work. Then I've got some debt servicing. So down here, if I've missed anything, so debt servicing might be a personal loan or a business loan or something like that that you've taken out, credit card repayments or anything like that that you actually physically have to spend. So down here, I've got type your own expenses, and in here, if I've missed anything, then you can add all of that in there. Now in here, let's have a look at what I can supplement. I've got an accountant that'll take 50% in Qoin. Entertainment, I can definitely subsidize 50% of that in Qoin. I've got in my insurance, the broker's willing to take their fees, which is about 10% of that they're willing to take. Now, repairs and maintenance, I think that I could probably get away with 50% of that on Qoin. My subscriptions, I can't really change. My telephone, there's a person who's willing to do 50% of that on Qoin. And car repayments, unfortunately, the financer isn't quite ready to take on any Qoin at this point. So this is just basically working that out, and it'll work it all out into a monthly cost, which will pull all of that through into another section. Are there any questions in regards to that? So next we're moving across into our personal expenses. So as much as we need our business to cover our own itself and cover all of the business expenses that are associated there, the other thing that we need our business to do in most instances is cover the shortfall of whatever our overheads are in our general everyday life. So the way that we need to do that is we need to do our personal budget too, and that really needs to be incorporated into this to make sure that we are actually earning enough to cover the expenses of our life, not just our business, but our life. The things to remember here is don't double up. If you've claimed your mobile phone in your business section, don't pull it through into your personal section again. It's going to overinflate your expenses. So in here, we've got our rent or our mortgage. We've got our car payments. So we'll put in our rent, we'll call it $450 a week for our rent, which will then once again calculate out our monthly cost. In this section as well, we've got our percentage supplemented in Qoin, which will then carry through and do the same calculation as the previous one. The car repayment I added to the business because business is covering that for me. Thank you, business. So I don't need to worry about adding that in here. However, if the business is covering yours and your spouse or significant other is being paid personally, then add that one into here. We've got our credit card interest, any voluntary super, contributions are in here. So I'm going to add, $500 worth of credit card interest in here, and that gets charged monthly. I put away $300 a week into savings, just in case. It's really important. Child support, donations, pocket money. Always chuck something in for pocket money. $150 a week covers your coffees and your lunches and those sorts of things. Now down here, we've got our home expenses. So if you're renting, you might not have these. However, if you are not renting and you're an owner, you might have some of these. I've got rent here again, but by the look of it. So we've got council rates. So council rates up here on the Gold Coast, we're very, very lucky. $800 a quarter for those ones. Body corporate fees, if you're in a complex, I think that's about the same for us here. So we're about $800 a quarter. We've got our landlord insurance, which is, I think it's only $20 a week. Any home maintenance that you might have, I'm just going to pop in $100 per month just to cover any incidentals that might happen. New appliances and furniture. I have children. I don't waste money on those sorts of things. Electricity for home. Now I'm going to pop in here $600 a quarter as well. Lawn mowing. I pay my son $20 a fortnight for that. Eye care glasses and vet. Also, we've also got your own expenses down in here as well, in case we've missed anything. We've got your general living expenses. So we've got shopping and transport here. So I spend about $400 at the supermarket every fortnight for me and mine. Actually, I'm going to reduce that down to $300 because I probably spend $100 a fortnight just on fruit and veg alone. We've got baby products. Thankfully, I'm out of that stage. We've got clothing and shoes, cosmetics and toiletries, hairdresser, other gifts, meat when you go to the butcher, that's separate. I've got my car insurance, which is about $100 per month. I've got car maintenance, which is about $200 per, we'll call it $200 per month. Car rego, which I think is about $800 per annum. Petrol, I pay about $100 per month for petrol. Roads, tolls and parking, might only be $10 per month. Depending on where I park. Buses, trains and ferries, I don't have to pay for that one. So anything that you don't have to pay for, you can just leave it blank. Entertainment and eating out. Holidays. COVID did a wonderful job of destroying all the holidays, not destroying, but definitely changing that sort of environment. So I'm going to leave that one blank because at the moment I'm not really holidaying. Bars and clubs. No, I don't have any bars and clubs that I really attend anymore, but I do. Let's go. No, it's probably a bit much. $50 a week for me and hubby on alcohol. Other gyms and sporting, no. Cigarettes, no. Movies and music. I'm going to pop in here the $12 per month that I pay for Netflix. I think it's 15 now. Any other hobbies, newspapers, celebrations, restaurants. Now we do go out to restaurants a bit. So restaurants I'm going to put in here. We're going to call it $300 a week. That seems very excessive. But I'm going to call 75% of that done on Qoin. Takeaway, not really. Oh no, I'll put in $100 per week on takeaway. Or per fortnight maybe on takeaway food. But we're once again going to say that 75% of that's done on Qoin. Bought lunches and coffees. Coffees we might say $5 a day, 5 days a week. So we'll call it $25 per week that I spend on coffees. Treat myself to a coffee every day, but I found a local place that takes Qoin, so 100% of that can be subsidized on Qoin. Now there's, here we've got our other income. So this is where you can bring in, if your business is a side business and you also have a PAYG job, you can bring in your PAYG income into here. You can also bring in your partner's income here. So this should be your total household income, total household expenditure. So you need to bring in your total household income. So my husband brings home $1,000 per week. Any bonuses or overtime? Nothing at the moment. Income from savings and investments. No, we'll call that no, nothing that's on a regular basis. So we'll just leave that one out. But if you had something in there, so you had dividends that were paid every quarter or something like that, you can put those in. If you had term deposits that were rolling over and paying out, you can put in here your Centrelink benefits, your family tax benefit, child support received, rent received. So up here, although I was paying rent, I've popped in here my other commitments in here. Sorry. So what I should put in here then is, if that one's $450, sorry, just going to do adjust something. Then this would be the mortgage, which would be about $1,000 per month because interest is so low. So down here in my other income, I'll put in the income from my investment property. Oh, gone too far. Sorry about that. $400 per week for the investment property, which then should calculate all of that out. So then we have a personal income and expenditure sheet that is completed. So from this, what we can then do is we can then work out what we can supplement in Qoin and add all of that through into here. Anything else that you might be able to move across. So, you know, you've been able to find a mechanic that takes 50% Qoin. Maybe you've found some other things. So I know that here on the Gold Coast, we've been lucky enough to find a fruit and veg person that takes 100% Qoin, so long as you don't spend over $200 in a shop. So we can absolutely do that. So that's fantastic. And I think that that's probably about all at the moment that we could subsidize. Any questions about this spreadsheet at all? All right, so what we'll do is now we'll pop over into our calculation, which is where we get a bit of a drum roll and we'll see how we're actually doing. Okay, so up the top here, we've got the results. So based on the information entered in your business, the below results show the total business expenses, household expenses, and household income broken into monthly amounts to show you the total amount that you require to be paid from your business. So this is how much it costs your business to keep the doors open every week. And this is how much it costs to keep your household alive. every month. And this is how much, it costs to your household every month. And this is the additional income that's coming in outside of your business. So this is the total amount of the income that your business needs to generate in order to cover the expenses of your life and your business. So this is a handy little calculation tool. Sometimes it can be a little bit daunting, but it's really, really good and important to know these figures. So then, based on that, we can work out what your current daily sales are. So based on the information provided about the revenue made by your business, below shows the total amount of the gross profit your business makes in a monthly period. Taking into consideration your total income and expenses, the surplus or deficit field shows if your business is earning enough to cover the expenses. So basically what this means is based on your income stream 1, this is your monthly earnings. Based on your income stream 2, from the GP section, this is your monthly earnings. So this is the total amount of monthly earnings that you're currently doing. This amount here, your total income, minus the total amount here that your business needs to make in order to cover the expenses, means that you've got a surplus at the moment of $23,000, which is, yay, wonderful. If that is the case, it could be very, very different on your side. So what does that mean in regards, and this is where we work out our spare capacity. So the spare capacity basically takes into consideration the amount that you are billing and the maximum amount that you can bill to work out the dollar value of the amount that you can still make in another area. So based on the income stream, based on income stream 1, which over here we said that we could do, at the moment we're doing 3 at 3 days a week. We could do a maximum of 6, 5 days a week, on a daily basis. So 3 per day. We could do 6. At the moment we're doing 3 days per week. We could do 5. Based on that one alone, at that income level, multiplying it out, we could have a spare capacity of doing an extra $68,000 with the sales. Oh, sorry, $272,000 with the sales, which would capitalize at $68,000 in profit. The same here for income stream 2. That would work out, we could do an extra 2 per month. 2 per week, which would work out to be 8 per month. Multiplying that out, we could do another $17,000 worth of our company returns, which would then calculate to be a gross profit margin of $4,330. So that's how we can work out how much we can afford to take in either additional cash sales or in coin sales without overextending ourselves and potentially chipping into our available time that we need to cover our other expenditure. Now, when we have a look and we bring Qoin into the equation, oh, that's not going to work. We need that to be a little bit wider. Oh, it's locked me out. Give me 2 seconds. So sorry. There we go. Adding Qoin to your business. In the business outgoings and personal expenses tabs, columns, oh no, I've already unlocked the columns, sorry. So when we take into consideration the additional columns here, where we've got column E and column F here in this one, and in this one that calculate the total amount of coin that we're supplementing in our business, when we take those into consideration, it recalculates the total amount of value of coin that we are needing. The total amount of cash that we need in our business, because we're now supplementing some of our expenses in coin. So rather than needing $12,000 now, by the time we take out the personal expenses and business expenses that we're now able to supplement in coin, the total amount of cash sales that we need to cover our day-to-day living expenses is now only $9,177. Oh, looks like I've got a bit of a glitch in my calculation here. I'm so sorry. I'll revisit this and resend that all the way through. And then when we incorporate that into our daily sales, we're able to see here I'll revisit this and readjust this and send this all through to you. But it will then adjust all of these and calculate out the actual new amount of the calculate out the new capacity that is needed. Sorry about that glitch. That's terrible. Also, when we take into consideration cashing out Qoin, so once we take into consideration cashing out Qoin, and we have a look at the total amount that we need to survive in the cash environment, we can take out a little bit of Qoin, up to $5,000 from BTX. This isn't a recommendation, it's just an option that is available. And if you consider cashing out your top limit at BTX, which is $5,000 per month, then the effects on cash flow can be even greater. So if you're having a situation where you might be in a cash deficit, you can potentially, not a recommendation, and we always recommend that you seek independent financial advice, but you might be able to subsidize some of your cash by actually cashing out some of the Qoin that you're generating and then bringing that into to cover your cash expenses. But I'll have to rework this sheet and send this one through to you because it is showing a bit of a glitch. I'm so sorry. So does anybody have any questions in regards to that other than can you please fix the last spreadsheet to show a little bit more of what it's actually trying to display? Does anybody have any other questions about anything else pertaining to Qoin or tax or general information about break-evens?
So I apologise if you did cover this and I might have missed it, but when there's more than one owner of a company, that's personal expenses. So do we combine each of our personal expenses on that tab?
For the business outgoing, for the personal expenses tab?
Yeah.
It's a great question. What I'd probably do is I would consider, you can do that. You can either do it one of two ways. You can have both of your personal expenses in the personal expenses to kind of get an understanding of exactly, that's probably the best way to do it. If you've got two business owners, then you need to probably add both of those together into this spreadsheet in here to make sure that the business is going to cover both of your lives.
Yeah, ultimately we'd both love to earn money.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem, not a problem. Are there any other questions?
So you covered everything.
Sorry, pardon?
Looks like you've covered everything.
Looks like I've covered everything. Wonderful. Wonderful. So what I'll do is I've recorded this, as I mentioned. So I will, I'll save the recording and I'll send it out to each of you. And I will revise this last tab on Qoin here just to incorporate this one correctly because it flows through to everything else. So I just want to make sure that I've brought the income stream in correctly. Sorry about that. And if you have any questions afterwards, feel free to email them through and I will try and answer them privately. Thank you all for coming. And yeah, have a lovely rest of your Monday.
Thanks, Becky.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.